мною принято решение о проведении специальной военной операции. Ее цель – защита людей, которые на протяжении 8 лет подвергаются издевательствам, геноциду со стороны киевского режима. Кто бы ни пытался помешать нам, а тем более создать угрозы для нашей страны, для нашего народа, должны знать, что ответ России будет незамедлительным и приведет вас к таким последствиям, с которыми вы в своей истории еще никогда не сталкивались. Мы готовы к любому развитию событий.
So Russia invades Ukraine. Everyone is talking about this since the last almost 3 weeks now. Why is this happening? Well, everyone just blames one person, Vladimir Putin. But did anyone think about going back into the context? Why is this war happening? Who is actually responsible for this war, except what you just see on Western mainstream media? So in this video, let's discuss about some things which might not be known to a lot of you people, because all you see is what the Western media wants to show you. So in this video, we just want to discuss about some facts everyone should be aware of, which probably most of the people in the world are not, because they are just seeing what the Western governments want them to see. So this video is mainly focused on NATO. Why NATO matters in this war. What is NATO, first of all? Well, NATO is basically an alliance of 30 countries, which basically is formed back in the old 1950s to fight against the Soviet Union. This alliance covers mostly all the bigger Western countries like US, Canada, UK, Germany, Italy, France, and all of the smaller nations which recently joined NATO, even in 2020, like Montenegro and North Macedonia. So why NATO matters in this war? Well, I will tell you why. So NATO basically is run by USA. USA is the main key player of NATO because they are the ones who supply the most defense equipment. Now, why USA likes to get involved in each and every war where they technically should not even go and talk about it? Well, there's a big reason. If you go back into the history, US loves wars. They love to interfere in every country, in any part of the world, whether it's Middle East, Afghanistan, South America, and now Eastern Europe. Why so? Because NATO is basically run by America. And who supplies defense equipments to all these countries? USA. So 30 countries in NATO, most of them get all their supplies from US. So anytime a war happens, American defense companies make a big chunk of money, and resulting in the government making a lot of money too. Just look at what's going on in China and Taiwan. Taiwan right now is scared that mainland China may invade them, so they recently signed almost a $600 million deal to buy defense equipment from US. Who is making money out of all these things? US. Who is making money out of the war in Russia and Ukraine? US. Who is giving most equipment to Ukraine through the name of NATO? US. Because in the end, US is the one who is making all the money in these wars. Right now, I'm not talking about anything, why Russia invaded Ukraine, who is right, who is wrong. I'm just discussing my facts and points related to NATO in this war. So NATO basically, as I explained to you, kept on saying to Ukraine that, hey, Ukraine, we are behind your back. You know, like anything happens to you, you got our support. But what happened in the end? As soon as the Russia invaded Ukraine, NATO is like, hold on guys, I can only help my NATO allies, and Ukraine, you're not my member, so sorry, too bad, but I'm not gonna help you. You're just making our border stronger for our allies. That's what they say. It's like some kind of joke. Like, people are fleeing Ukraine. Ukrainians have to flee their homes. They have to leave their life and go and stay in some kind of a refugee camp right now on the border of Ukraine with different countries. So what is NATO making out of this? They're making money, especially US. I'm only talking about US specifically here because they are the ones who are making the most money out of this whole war. They are loving that Russian economy will get weaker, Russia's defense equipment will get weaker, it will get destroyed, but US will still make money because they're not getting involved in the war themselves. They are not losing any troops, they're not losing any kind of equipment. All they're doing is making money by sending it through NATO in a way to give to Ukraine, but technically they make money out of this. They charge money. They just did a deal with Taiwan during all of this, just because Taiwan is in a high tense situation because they feel China is going to invade them. So they're making money. A lot of American companies, which you might be familiar with, GM, Boeing, which you might think, oh, they make cars, they make airplanes, but you'll be surprised they put a lot of their budget into making defense equipment. And these are not even the main American companies who make defense equipment. If you look at the list of all the companies in the world, you will realize that most of the companies who make defense equipment are from US. And even in the top 10, most of them are from US, who makes the maximum number of defense equipment. So in the end, what do you see out of this? If there is no war in the world, US will go bankrupt. They will have no money left. I understand. I know they have a lot of money from other avenues, but they make the most money out of wars. They love wars, especially the ones where they don't get involved, or they will get involved just so they can make more money. US will only go into a war if they get some kind of benefit out of it. Why did they go to Middle East, even though it's not a NATO member like Ukraine? Why did they go there? They only went because they had their own benefit. They wanted to counter a government which was against US policies, which was not just supporting whatever US says. And then on top of that, that government had a lot of oil reserves. So when US invades, they go and bomb the shit out of everything. And then in the end, they say, oh, we help the civilians. And you can't even imagine where the civilians were at that time because no Western media captured any of the news. All they showed is, oh my God, America is saving all these countries, or UK is saving all these civilians from this corrupt government. Well, governments are corrupt even in Western countries. It's not just developing. Developing definitely have corrupt governments, but Western have it too. There is a lot of things I would love to talk about, but let's not go into detail in this video. But let's keep it short to the point that companies in US make the most money out of this present war in Ukraine and Russia. So think again. When you think NATO is doing the best they can, no, they're not. Because NATO won't ever get into a war with Russia because they are not going to make good money out of this, because they will be losing a lot of money in their military equipment. They will be losing a lot of money in losing their soldiers, infrastructure, all of these things. But they won't get into this war because all they care is about their own benefit. And this is how America runs their government too. So think again.